And I'm going to give everyone the opportunity to share their screen. Maybe whenever you write the code and you run into problem, just don't feel shy. Just tell me. We are all here to learn. Even myself, we can say that what I sent to you yesterday after the class, I was struggling to write a code that I know is going to work. But at some point, I was able to get it to work immediately after the class. So the thing is that I will take my time to get everyone along, and I will move in a very slow pace. So let me share my screen. Okay. So please give me a thumbs up once you're able to move in the data set. Okay. Uh, so okay. If you guys want to walk, if you guys want to just pull in the data along with me, let's do it one after the other so that it's going to make a lot of sense. Because today we are bringing in like 7 different tables into the Power BI, the desktop. So I'm just gonna delete this. Let me delete this and start from the beginning. So just uh, click on the get data, click on the Excel workbook, and let's bring in the first will be the country table. Let me bring in the country table. I decided to keep it so short so that we'll be able to learn in a very simple way instead of bringing tables with a lot of records. So the country table name says sheet 1. Check on this. And if you preview this, we can say we have the states that's supposed to be the column header and the country as a record here. So what we need to do is that, I think someone have a message. Okay. Um, so what we need to do is that click on the transform button that says transform data. If you click on the transform data, it's going to take you to the Power Query. Please, if you are having difficulty hearing me, I have code and I'm just forcing myself to talk. But if my voice is still very low, let me know so that I can shout a little bit. So we can see that we can use the column 1. Okay. So we can use the column 1 and the column 2 as our header. It doesn't make any sense. We are looking at this data set. We all know that this is a state and this is a country, and this is supposed to be the column header. So what we need to do is that if you select on, if you click, okay, let me show you. If you click on this table-like icon at the extreme right of the ABC column, if you click on it, then it says remove top rows. So, or use first row as header. So if you click on use first row as header, can you see it fixed that problem? And if you go to the apply step, it says change type 1. So another method for us to confirm if our data type is the right data type is by looking at the icon very close to the column header. This for the state sales ABC, and this for the country sales ABC, which means it's a string or a character data type. So that is fine. So now what I want to do is that I want to change this sheet name to what? To the probably the country table. So I'm going to right click on the sheet 1. You do a right click and click on rename and change that to country to country. And after that is done, come to the left hand side corner where you saw the close and apply button, then click on that to apply these new settings, and click on this to apply changes. So this will bring in the country table. So let's click on this arrow button just for us to look at our data set displayed, and we can come to the table view or the data view to see our table. Yeah. So now we have Indiana, the states, we have the country, we have the Paris as France, we have Mumbai as India. Yeah. So that's that. So the next thing for us to do is we have to bring in another table again. So if you click on this, let's bring in the let's see. I think I put it on the right hand corner here. We have the company. Okay, the country, the company table is going to be the next one. So let's do company. I'll bring in the company table and I'll hit open. So check this as well. You can see we have the same problem as well. So we'll hit on the transform data. And I'll hit on this as well. I click on this as this. And I'll name this as company table. Then I'll apply step 2. I'll click. So now we have the company table, we have the country, we have this. So let's select the company and check on your data view to see how your, yeah, so this looks good. We have the company, employee name, the position, and the state, fine. So let's bring in the, okay, that is fine. Now, today, I will show you how to write, do a lookup value. So a lookup value doesn't necessarily mean that the two tables have to be related. But funny enough, the Power BI was able to detect the relationship between the two tables. You can see, I didn't form any table on my own. It's probably like a kind of an auto detect. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's okay. Let's do it this way. Let me click on manage relationship, and I'm going to uncheck it and close it. Okay, let me just delete the relationship. Okay, so I've deleted the relationship. Now I have a company table. I have a company table that has the company name, the employee name for each of the company, the position, and the states they have, the state they work from. But we also have a country table that have the states and the country. So what I'm trying to do now is like, in SQL, it's going to be like, okay, let me use the annotation too. So in SQL, which is the structure, structure, query language. We have a table that is known as table one. Table one equals country. Table two equals what? Company, right? So in SQL, the thing is that this company does not have a column for the country. Well, it has a state. Okay, in the company, let me do the country column is missing, right? In the country table, country and state columns are available, right? So now, well, the company table contains more information compared to the country table. And I need, for me to be able to probably identify the country that each of the employee comes from, it is important that I introduce a new column, right? I have to add a column on the company's table. Add the column of the company table to introduce the country for each employee, right? So that is that. Now I've broken it down. So what I need to do now is that in Excel is a VLOOKUP. In SQL Server is a join. Use a join. So the join is that I'm joining the country table from the company table, which means that all the information in the company table will be, I will keep that, and I will now add additional column from the country table to it. So basically, the syntax is always like I will select the columns. Let's say select columns needed from company, which are everything on the company's table, and the country column from the country table, which means that, let me show you this. Okay, which means that I will select all the columns in the company table. If we have like 6 columns, I will say, okay, from company, let's say, okay, let's do it like this way. If the country column, if the company column has 6 columns, for instance, and we demarcate it with, let's say each of the column is A, B, C to like F. I can say column country or company rather dot first column, comma, company dot second column, comma, all to the last column that I want to bring in from the company table. Also company dot nth, and okay, sorry, I think we have someone. Okay. Okay, and the last one is going to be the country dot the first column. You can see that I've used my select statement to fetch only the required columns that I want to include in my table. Now I'm pulling the columns from the companies table and at the same time pulling the column from the country table. Then I will now say from, okay, let me delete this. I want to believe we are fine with this. Then I will now say select all this from company table, inner join company dot the primary key, from company table, inner join the country table on, then I will now say the company dot primary key equals country dot primary key. So by so doing, I will be successful in bringing in the column from the country table, just the single column table, the main column. So this is, I decided to write this for you simply because by the time we get to the SSM mentioned is the Microsoft SQL Server, we will write more of this. But this is the template that the Power BI is running on to join different tables. So by so doing, this table will return the exact column that I stated in the select statement from these two tables, the company tables and the country. You can see I said from company. That means the company is my primary table. I'm keeping all what I have in the company table. I'm bringing what they have in common in the country table. For instance, the company will be the parent. Like, for instance, I want all the information in the company table. Fine, it's going to keep that for you. And still going to bring what they have in common in the country table. That is what we want to do now. Please let me know if you have any question before I move forward. So let me clear our drawing and so that is that. So now I want to text something. We have a country table, we have a company table. So I'm bringing in the company name, the employee name, the position name, the state. But this company name, this company table is missing a country name, right? But I can join by state, right? This state is a unique identifier for this column, though it might not be in numbers, but there is a state. Each of the employees in this company table works in a state. That is what it means. But I want to, before we do that, before I create a relationship for this, I want to write a code to see if it's going to work. I want to text if a lookup value function. I know definitely that it works for both table that have relationship and table that does not have a relationship. But let's give it a shot. So let's go back to the report view. And let's click on the company's table and let's create a calculated column. So for the calculated column, let's do lookup value. I think we have it here. Lookup value. So I want to look up what? So from my country table, I'm looking up from my, can you see, result column, search column, and the value. So for my country table, I'll do country which is the country, right? And I'll also do in the same column. You know, the country column is where I'm pulling from to join my customer table. I'm just adding a column to my customer table, to my company table rather. So my lookup value first will look into the company country table and looks at the country column. Now sorry that I use country. The country is a column and the state is a column. It's going to look into a country column. What am I searching for there? I'm searching for the state that each of the employees come from. So the next one is going to be the state. And the last one is going to be the value, search value. And the search value is going to be for what? The search value is going to come from the primary table, which is the company's name. So that's going to be the company table. Let's do okay. So let's do the company state. That's the search value. Then I will do, if you wanted to return an alternate result, maybe not found or not applicable, we can put it. But let's give it a shot and see if this is going to work. So it created a column, but let's see if it works. Now you can see it works, right? So based on the table that I created, Mumbai is from India, Paris is in France, all other states are in the US. Fine, it works, right? Well, let's try something again. I'm going to delete this. Okay, let's label this to be country without relationship. I'm just trying to show us some things so that we'll be able to have an idea of how to do like a kind of a lookup and a search and the likes. So now we can search for a value, we can have a lookup table. So the country table is like a lookup table. So we can have a lookup table that is not joined to any dimension or any fact table. What does that mean? In Autrix, I can tell you in Autrix, that means it's like a kind of a append to or find and replace. We have append to and we have find and replace. We also have that in Excel. That is what is replicated here in Power BI. Do you get what I'm saying? It's pretty very easy. So if you go to Microsoft Excel, let me show you that real quick. I'm so sorry that I have to do this. Can you see my screen? See if you can see the Microsoft Excel, just put in a yes for me in the chat. If you can see the Microsoft Excel that I just shared. Okay, cool. So what we did was that we do like a kind of we find it and we append it. But in Excel, it's find and replace. Let's do Control F in Excel. If you press Control F, okay, I think I have to stop my sharing for it to work, but it shouldn't be that. Okay, let's select the bats and let's do Control F. Can you see? It says find and replace. I can find one and replace it with whatever value I want to replace it with. That's find and replace. This is not going to change this column, right? But you can see that in Power BI, we were able to append. When I click on the transform data, when I was pulling in the data set, there is a place where I can also change in the Power Query that I can find and replace my value with whatever I want it to be. I'm going to show you that as well. So let's click enter for this. So this is country without relationship. So I want to do something real quick. Let's see, I want to move this away. I want to move this away. I want to go to my transform data. Click on transform data. Okay. So if you can see my screen, you can see that there is an icon that says data type text. Use first row as header and replace value. If you click on replace value, can you see it says value to find, replace with? That will work exactly the way Control F on your Excel spreadsheet will work. Can you see that now? So there are so many ways that we can do our data manipulation. So this is not what we want to do today. I'm just trying to show you the relationship between Microsoft Excel, Power BI, and SQL query. So that's that. So let's just click on let's click on close and apply. So the next thing I want us to try now is that I want us to come to the model view, and I want us to create a relationship again. Let's do auto detect. Can you see? Found one new relationship. Let's hit close. So now I'm going to write another DAX expression for the relationship that we just created. So I'm going to right click on the company and click on the new column, and I will do lookup value. We are looking for the value in what? In our country table, in our country state, and the search value is going to be where? In our company name, in our company table. So if you put the company, that will be the company state. So let's try and do something. It says alternate name, alternate result. Let's do okay. So the alternate result is not going to work simply because okay, let me just do this first. So let me just click enter first. And let's see if it works. So let's go to our data view. You can see we have the same thing. That shows that the lookup value function will work for data table that are related or that have relationship or without relationship. So I'm going to name this as okay, let me name this country, okay, with relationship. Country with relationship. So basically, if you want to, maybe you have a data set and you want to introduce an additional column to it and you have a lookup table, it doesn't mean that it has to have like, the tables don't have to be related. For instance, maybe during your data investigation, you discover that, okay, fine, I think I can probably append an additional column to this data set. You can come up with your own table, just put it in an Excel spreadsheet, then move it into your Power BI desktop, and you write this lookup value and append the new column to it. So that is that. So the next,
excuse me.
Yeah.
Please do clear me a little bit here. I think is it not the state that is connecting both the country and the company? So when you are using both of them on that, when you say country without relationship and country with relationship, I think because they have the states, that's why you were able to get the country and country in the two field. Am I mixing it, or?
Yeah, you're right, 100%. So what I'm just trying to say is that in your data model, you might introduce a table that does not have a relationship here. Do you get what I'm saying? It all depends on the structure. This relationship will not stop you from using your lookup value function. That is what I just want to establish. Regardless the table is connected or not, the lookup value function will work. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thanks so much for that question, Ifema. So the next thing for us to do is this. Yesterday, I was explaining fact table, dimension table, and I think it's very important that I show you guys how to probably connect and build a relationship with a fact table. And before I forgot, we created a new column. We can use a lookup value to create a calculated column, and we can also use it to create a measure. Let me just put it in an annotation. Okay. We can use the lookup value to create a calculated column and measure. Yeah. Yes, let me just put it in dash. So the first use case is the calculated column that we created, right? I'm going to show you how to use a measure to create, so how to use a lookup value to create a measure as well. So what I want us to do now is that I want us to bring in all other tables, and please try and make sure you use your first row as header if that kind of error comes in, so that we'll be able to have a clean data. Let me just try and pull one. I know most of the data is labeled facts. I'm going to bring in my facts table. So let's do select sheet. Okay. I think the fact table make a lot of sense. The others and everything is fine. So let's just click load. So I'm going to rename these and label it as fact table. I'm going to click OK. That's the fact table. So yesterday when I was talking about fact table, let me just do a little recap. The fact table contains, let's say, a lot of information. contain a lot of information. For instance, a fact table, fact table can have more than 200 plus columns, which might be so very difficult for an analyst to probably view at a glance. So the best way to probably make sure that we are able to probably put into use all the information or the data that is being captured by the fact table is by having like a kind of a subtable. A subtable, which you can also call the dimension table. Dimension table. Please give me like 2 minutes. I'm going to be back. Please, just 2 minutes. Sorry about that. The keys, though, are just making a kind of noise that is even affecting my brain. So so the subtable is the same as the dimension table. So I wish I can use this to probably draw. So many dimension tables, I think someone wants to join. Many dimension tables so many dimension tables can be joined to a single fact table. Fact table contains detailed information. Dimension table contains granular information. What do I mean by granular? Like fine. I want to get the lowest level of the information. For instance, a fact table contains employee's ID, employee's biodata, employee medical record, employee employee medical record, employee bank transaction, employee leave, it contains a lot of things. So at the granular level, the dimension table will capture a particular details for each of the employee. So which means that in a manufacturing organization, they will have a fact table, probably a fact table that contains all their operation, machine operation, human resources, all their departments. So at the granular level, is going to be at the departmental level, which is going to be okay, fine. Okay. Let me break this down again so that you can understand. Let me use a manufacturing organization. A manufacturing organization equals the fact table. An organization will have what? Department, right? Department. So the department, the fact table, the organization will have one fact table, or they might have two fact tables. It all depends on the structure of their database. Let's say 1 to n fact tables. So let's put S here. At the next level, the manufacturing company will have what? Departments, right? So they might have up to like 20 departments, right? One department might have, let's say, 5 subunits. Okay, so let me explain. A manufacturing organization they have logistic department, they have the sales department, they have the HR department, they have the maybe the quality assurance department. They will have so many departments. In each of the departments, they will have a subunit. So for instance, in my organization, we have different departments. But my own department is Information Technology Shared Services. That is a department under our FNSS department. That is a sub-department rather, under our FNSS department. FNSS means Financial Shared Services. So under Financial Shared Services, we have ITSS, we have HRSS. ITSS is Information Technology Shared Services, and the HRSS is Human Resource Shared Services. Do you get what I'm saying? In order that we have one department as well that have corporate HRSS, that's CHRSS. The corporate HRSS means it deals with all employees that are corporate, working for the corporate organization. What do I mean by the corporate is that in my organization, we have people that are probably part-time staff. They are maybe they are technicians because we are into so many things. We are into real estate, battery recycling, construction, asphalt production, monument chemicals, different things. So we have laborers, we have part-time staff. So each of the department, we now have a subunit. So the FNSS has the ITSS, which is Information Technology Shared Services. Under the Information Technology Shared Services, let me put it here. So that will be, so ITSS is a subunit in FNSS. So that means FNSS is the parent. ITSS is the child, right? So in ITSS, we have ITSS BICOE. That is my own department. Business Intelligence Center of Excellence. This will be what? Grandchild, right? We also have the DevOps team, which is ITSS, maybe data engineering or whatever they call themselves, engineering, is a grandchild, right? We also have ITSS Help Desk. This is also a grandchild. So let me now ask you a question. If our CEO needs an information, probably regarding the, maybe they want to build a kind of a analytic app or a model or something like that. Okay, let me now tell you something again before I move forward. This ITSSBI COE, which is my own department, that I have a boss, is splitted into 3 levels again. We have the Ultrix BI admin, which is that is my job. We have the power. We have the business analyst. That's manages Power BI, Power Automate, and other Microsoft related technologies. Inside the same BI COE, we still have SharePoint admin collaborator. Now, let me ask you a question, or probably let me just put this question straight to you. The interactive technology that we use in my organization is Microsoft SharePoint. And maybe the CEO or the top level C-suite individual, the leadership, had an issue with SharePoint site. With their SharePoint site, their teams or their channel, they have to do something in SharePoint site. Do you know it would be so foolish for that person to route his question to a person in another department that works maybe with monument chemicals or asphalt materials? So for him or for her to get his or her problem resolved on time, he needs to go to the granular level. That means he has to put in a ticket, and that ticket must be directed to anyone that specializes in the SharePoint admin collaborators. So when the information is coming, the approval is coming, the ticket will be submitted to the ITSS, which is the child, to the FNSS. It will be processed by BICOE, which is the grandchild, and the manager at the BICOE is going to be the one to approve that ticket and assign it to the correct subunit in our own department. If it is a SharePoint related issue, it's going to be assigned to a SharePoint admin. If it is an Ultrix related issue, it's going to be assigned to me. And if it is a Power Platform or Power Automate issue, there's going to be assigned to the other guy monitoring that. You can see the granularity of that information. That is the main reason why we have a lot of dimension tables connected to a fact table. Because you can't really get the granular information from a fact table. You have to access that through the dimension table. So that's the major reason why we have a fact table. And companies, we want to break that data table into something that is easy to trace, easy to query, in order for them to bring the exact information that will translate their business operation. So that is that. So I want to believe this is well detailed. And by now we should understand what fact table is and what dimension table is. Because in a job interview, they might ask you, what is the difference between a fact table and a dimension table? With this, it should have a lot of things to tell them. So that is that. So let's clear out the drawing. I think I'm gaining more energy now. So we've brought in the fact table, right? So let's bring in other tables that says facts into the Power BI desktop. Please, if I'm moving too fast, please let me know so that I can slow down a little bit. So click on the Get Data, Excel, and let's do, we have anything that says facts table? You have sales. Okay, 6 other facts. Click on that. So check the sheet one. Okay, that's fine. Let's just click load. Click on apply changes. And let's rename that to, let's see, that should be six order facts. So let's rename this to sales order facts. Just for us to know that is like, okay, no, let's name it as D dimension. So before I proceed, by the time probably by the end of this month, by the time you believe you are pretty very comfortable using Power BI, I think it's high time you might probably want to look into our resume and let's start applying for job. Just for two things actually. For you to have an idea what it looks like when they are probably asking you, or probably when you are interviewing, and it will also give me a chance to probably prep you for the interview. Do you get what I'm saying? So I wouldn't want us to go too fast. So by the end of August, just with Power BI and SQL, you can start applying for job. So the thing is that I'll always be there to provide a support for you, regardless. Because at times there are so many reasons why people get employed. Some organization will be looking for someone that have the spirit, that have the mind that is ready to learn, regardless of what they believe you probably know at that point in time, and I hire you and you learn on the job. Do you get what I'm saying? So you're going to have 100% my support for the fact that our ecosystem is still very small. I just probably, with those that are probably watching the videos, probably I give or take about 10 max. So I think I should be able to provide the necessary support. But the thing is this, I won't be able to teach you all this DAX expression. But by the time you are able to know one or two things, you'll be pretty very comfortable going online, watching videos, and learning more about how to write the DAX expression in a kind of very more complex way. But the thing is that whenever they give you a project to work on, I want to tell you the solution is out there for you. It's just for you to be able to know how to like probably pull in your data set and start doing your cleaning. And for the sake, the technology has been simplified to probably make our job to be easier. So we can always do a Zoom call, even if you're on a project and you are running into a problem. So I should be able to, one way or the other, make an arrangement for that. So that is that. So I want our short-term goal to be at the end of August, we should start applying for job, Power BI job and SQL. Even if the job sales requested for additional stuff, we can still probably tailor our resume to suit that. Do you get it? So let's start giving it a shot instead of waiting for like 3-4 months or something. So by the end of August, I think we are good to go. So let me bring in the other table as well, dimension table. So that's that. This ID. Okay. So let's click home. Then click. Another table should be. We should have product facts. Yeah, product fact. So check this. Okay, this looks good. Then we'll bring in this. So let's rename these, right click on these and rename it to be products DM. That will be product dimension. Let's click OK. And the next table is worth. Okay. I think order, okay. Let's bring in that. Let's do order fact. Let's do this. Let's check this. And let's rename this to order the, and the last one should be, let's say, that should be customer. Okay, let's bring in the customer fact. Let's do customer fact. So please, if you have any data set that probably you want to work on, I will probably advise that as an individual, like this is gonna be this advice going to everyone. But I will advise that the best way for you to learn again is this. Go and look for a very dirty data set and schedule a one-on-one section with me so that I will start from the data cleaning stage for the data set and build the interactive dashboard for you. That is another way for you to learn, because there is a video online that says Power BI in a day. Most people that start applying for Power BI job, they only learn Power BI just for probably like maybe a week, and they start applying for Power BI job. Do you know why? Simply because you can't learn all the functions in Power BI in a year. But by the time you are working on the project, you will learn faster because you'll be exposed to different challenges, different roadblocks. And that is when you know, okay, oh, so I can use this and solve that problem. That is how it works. So please get a very noisy, a very dirty data set and schedule a one-on-one section with me so that we can work on that together. So let's check the sheet one and review it. And this looks good. And we change the name to customer DM. So what D means is dimension. It's pretty similar to the department, the sub-department, the parent, the child, the grandchild, and everything I was explaining. So now, I showed you a picture yesterday about a fact table, how it was connected to a dimension table. I'll do that for you now, and you see it. So let's go to our model view. We should have all our tables there. So I'm going to pull up this. Let me pull up. And this again. Can you see what happened? Can someone tell me what happened? Simply because they all have primary keys and foreign key in other table. You can see this fact table has automatically be connected to all other things table. So if you prep your data in a very nice way, if your data preparation is upright, the Power BI, the model view, the relationship will be formed automatically. But in some instance, if the data is very noisy and very dirty and maybe the naming convention, okay. So let me tell you the reason why this was able to form a relationship easily. It's simply because the naming convention is the same thing all through the tables. If you look at the facts table, it says customer key, it says other key, it says product key, it says other key, right? And we have says other key in the says other dimension table in other database. This says other key might not be says other key. Do you get what I'm saying? If it is says other ID, if it is says other ID here, and it says other key in the fact table, it will not join automatically, simply because the column header for each, for the column, the column header for the says order column is different in both tables. Okay, let me use the annotation stuff again so that I'll be able to show you. Fact table has product key, and product DM has product key. That is the reason why the product DM was joined automatically to the fact table. But if the fact table has a product ID, that's a product ID, and the product DM has a product key, it will not form automatically. It's now left to you to know that, okay, fine, product ID and product key is the same thing. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's the reason why I said the naming convention is very important. I don't know, maybe we can probably change something. Let's try something again. Let's go to the transform data set. Let me see if we can probably change one of these, the product DM from product key to product ID. Let's see if it's going to work. So I just want to make sure I show you. So I'll go to my transform data and let's do transform data. Let's see, let's do product DM. Can we change the product key name? Let's see. Duplicate column. Okay. Rename. Do we have anything that says rename? Okay, rename. Okay, thanks. So I'm going to change this to ID now. I'm going to click OK. Can you see at the apply step, it shows that we now have a rename column, right? So let's go back to, let's apply, close and apply these changes. Apply changes. Okay, we still join together. So the thing is this. Let's go back to the fact table and the product key to the product ID. I want to check something. This is how to probably learn how to do data investigation. So for the fact table, we have, where is it? Okay, let me just click on this. For the fact table, we have the product key to be 100100100. Yeah. So for the product DM, we also have this. So the reason why it's actually joined is this. The product ID is the unique identifier, right? And the data type is the same thing. Let's do something. I will change the data type from integer and change it to text. Let's see if it's going to form a relationship. This is how to do like a kind of a data troubleshooting. Maybe you want to know the reason why your dashboard is not working interactively. These are the methods you can adopt. So I'll click on transform data and I'll click on transform data. Yeah. So I will go to the product DM and I will change this data type. I click on 1, 2, 3, right? I want to change it to text. And I click that. It's updating. I'm going to do a refresh. Okay, so let's go back to our model view. Still connected, really? So let's delete this. Okay, let me delete relationship. Then I'll hit the refresh button again. Let's see if it's gonna. So let's click on manage relationship. And let's do auto detect. Can you see that? It says found no new relationship. So at times, this is one of the things you can see. I changed the data type for the product DM product ID to text. The relationship is still there, simply because this is where the Power BI reason. Whenever you are working in a view, maybe you make any changes. Whenever you make any changes, regardless of the view you are working at, you have to refresh the data set. So naturally, I know that there is no way a unique identifier for a table that has a text as the data type will join with a unique identifier of a table that has an integer data type. It's not going to work. I know that 100%. But after changing the data type for the product ID, I still discovered that the relationship is still there. That was the reason why I have to delete the relationship manually and refresh to see if it's going to detect the relationship again. It doesn't work, right? So let's try and do something. Let's try and manage relationship again. So I want to join the fact table to the product DM. Let's see if it's going to work. Let's do new. Let's do fact table. I'm going to select the product key and I'm going to choose the product DM. I'm going to select this. This is text. This is integer. Let's click OK. It works. So let's close it and let's see. Yeah, it says 1-on-1. I think the text might not be a very good example. Let's try something again. Let me try a new data type. Because at times you can read 100, like 100, as a text, like a string, and you can also read it as an integer. But let me use a decimal instead, and let's see if it's going to work. Let me do transform data. Let's do product DM. What data type can I use? Okay, let's use fixed decimal or currency. Okay. Can you see now? It's the same number right? 10010101001. But I give it a data type of currency. Let's just leave it that way. And let's close and apply. Let's do apply changes. So I'll do refresh. Then I'll create a new relationship. What do you do? Create fact table. I'll select the product key. I'll select the product DM and I'll select this. So the thing is this, at this level, the relationship works. The relationship was unable to detect the change in data type. But because we join it manually, it's joined. But do you know one thing? By the time you are building an interactive dashboard, probably you want to search by product ID. Whatever you are probably querying the product table is not going to be interactive, simply because the data type, the product key that were used to join to other tables or the fact table does not correspond to this. But at the model level view, it was able to connect because this was a manual connection. Let me delete this, and let me do an auto. Let me tell the machine to do an auto detect for us. It will say no. Found no new relationship. Can you see? Yeah. So I got a question that says, can we always settle for auto detect? The auto detect can work if you are very sure that the naming convention of the database is strictly enforced. What I mean by that is all the tables coming from the database have the same naming convention. All the dimension table joined to the fact table in the database have the same naming convention. If the naming convention is the same thing and is coming from the same database, you can use auto detect. If the data is well prepped and the data type is well converted, auto detect will work. But in the case where you are pulling data from probably Microsoft SQL Server, you are pulling data from Oracle, or you are pulling data from other databases your organization is using, I can tell you there is no way you have the same unique or the same naming convention for all the tables. Do you get what I'm saying? For instance, in Monument Chemicals, they have their own HRSS department. Let's say, for instance, they have their own technology they are using, software. Let's say they are using Monday. And other HR, maybe corporate HR, is using another software. But there are some tables that were mirrored that they have in common. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you bring even the HR table in Monday's software and the one in Oracle and the one in SQL Server, and you put them into Power BI desktop, if the naming convention differs and you decide to use an auto detect, it will never work. You need to ensure that the naming convention is well tailored to what Power BI will be able to auto detect regardless of the source of the data tables. That is very, very important. So for the sake of this class, I'm going to change the product ID to its normal form. So I'll do transform and change that back to integer product DM. I'm going to change this to Then I'm going to click apply. I think from tomorrow, I might probably come up with the kind of survey that I have to be sending out. So that I'll be able to capture probably the feedback from you guys. I'll keep it as anonymous. I'll keep it as anonymous. I don't want you to put your name so that you won't think maybe Abe is going to be mad at me. No, I'll keep it as anonymous. I will use other technology to analyze it. I will use Autrix Designer to do like a kind of sentiment analysis. So I will do that. So I don't even need you to put your name. I'll just send that survey as a text. Just put whatever I want to put into it. I will mind the text and see how far I'm probably performing. I need your feedback. Either good or bad or very worse is okay by me. Because I'm just trying to build this whole thing. And your feedback really matters a lot. So since I've changed the data type for the product TM, let's go back to the manage relationship. And let's do auto detect. Can you see? It says found one new relationship. That works. So it's added it already, then we can click just close. That's fine. So after the works, then we do a refresh. So that is fine. So the next thing I'm going to write right now is I want to show you the second use case of Lookupvalue function. How we can use it in a measure, like to write a measure in Dash. The other time we do a calculated column, right? Now we do a measure for it. Then after that, I think I need to call it a day because I'm not feeling so great. So to do that, I want us to reference this. Let me show you this real quick. See what table I can use for that. That's gonna work. Okay. So let's use the fact table. Yeah, now fact table. I think this will be able to probably explain more of what I've been saying about the fact table. So let's look at the fact table. Let's see how it looks like. Fact table. Okay. The other time in our first use case for the lookup value, right? We append a column, right? We did a calculated column where we look up a value in the country table and our search engine is the country state, and our replace or our value to be append is in the company table state, and it returned the value, right? That was the simple DAX expression that we wrote to add a country column to the company table here. The lookup value, look at the country table, which is the lookup table, and what is the value that it is looking for? Is looking for what? Is looking at the state column in the country table, and the value will be added to where? In the company state. We are looking at the table, the country table. We want to see we want to add the country to it from the country table. A country that is equivalent to this state in the country table, and this state must be equivalent to the state in the company state. It's pretty very easy. The table name is country. The column we want to reference is column table. And the value we want to use to search in the country table is the state. And this state in the country table must be equivalent to the company state, to the state in the company table. Very pretty easy. Easy to write. So the use case, the second use case, I will not use this because this doesn't contain a lot of probably attributes that are going to make a lot of sense. So I'm going to use the fact table. So Now we are probably appending, looking for a value for each row in a data set. But for instance, if your boss tells you, okay, Abby, I have a sales ID of 14067, but I want to see the actual product key that is associated to it. And you have like probably 1 million data record. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, okay, fine. Give me a particular row. I want a particular row that is associated to a particular product key. The best way to do that is for you to use a measure. Okay, you now ask him, what attribute do you really want me to return? Okay, I want you to return, let me just go straight to the fact table so that I will just be talking out of point. So this is the fact table. We have 10 records, and probably your boss just want to see the sales order number that is associated to this customer key. Do you get what I'm saying? Maybe for instance, you have a salesman that maybe in the last meeting he said, okay, I've closed a deal, I'll be able to push the order out, and the order number is so. And you as a maybe senior data manager or senior data engineer, you want to confirm if what he is telling you is true. What you just do is that you just go to the database and okay, fine. We have a fact table where the customer key, the sales order number is being stored. For you to be sure that what he told you is correct, all what you just need to do is just for you to write a measure, a formula, a dash formula for the particular information the customer, the salesman gave to you based on the customer key. So if peradventure you write that code and the code is unable to return the assigned sales order number for that customer key based on the date he agreed that he told you that the order has been placed, then you have to like call him and tell me, oh, okay, Mr. K, I think what you told me is wrong because I was unable to pull the sales order number in the database. And for you to be very sure that what you're saying is right, you might want to probably consult with the database administrator to have an idea when their live data is being updated in the database. Because if, for instance, he told you that the deal was sealed maybe 3 hours ago, and you went into the database to go and pull the sales order number, you might not see it if the database is not configured or scheduled to run every 2 hours. If it is configured to scheduled to run to update data in every 24 hours, you might want to probably give it a 48 hours before you want to run your code. I hope that I hope that is very clear. So now I'll write that measure, and the measure will be, you click on the fact table and click on new measure. Click on new measure, and let's do lookup value. So in this case, we want to look up a value based on the customer key, right? So I'm going to do lookup value and select the fact table. The fact table says order number. Can you see what it says? Result column, lookup value, result column, search column name, and search value, then alternate value. Then you do comma, as it's shown here. Then we are searching on what? We are searching on what? We are searching on customer key, right? The customer key is here. So we'll do fact table, customer key, right? Then we'll do column. So what's the customer key number? I want to do the customer key number of 123 635. And it should return a value if there is a customer key that have this. If not, it should return non-applicable. Let's click enter. Let's see if it's going to work. So based on the customer key that I supplied, which is 1236635, the sales order number that it must return must be PO123, right? So let's go back to our report view. I'm going to choose new visual. I'm going to select a card, and I'm going to select this. Can you see that? It returned PO123. So let me do something again. Let's do measure. And let's just put 2 for the sake of the fact that we don't have any customer key that have a value like that. And let's do okay. Let's see what is going to return. Can you see? It returns non-applicable. Yesterday, I told us, whenever we want to pass information, like when I was talking about the category of age range, blah, 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 I told you about something about using double quotes. So the lookup value now tells us that there is no customer key that has a value of this, right? That's what it means. So if you supply a customer value that is within your database, then it's going to return what? It's going to return the sales order number. So let's do a gimmick again. I want to see something, if it's going to work. Okay, it works. I want to see, this is how I learn. I want to see if I can do, so we have 1, 2, 3, 6, 6, 3, 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5. Let's do, okay. Let's do all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5. So let's do, I can do, instead, let me do this. Doesn't work. Let me do table. Okay, it doesn't work. So let's leave that. So I will probably work on these as well and send you a code. So what I want you to display is this. I want to see, to be able to display if I supply two different, customer key. So I will look how to write that, but definitely won't be able to use a measure to display. A measure is meant to display a single value. So definitely we might want to use a new visual for that. Might probably use probably like an histogram or something that will just identify these are the six other number that were returned. So that is that. Do you want me to send you all this DAX expression in the mail as well or not? Does anyone need me to send these this dash expression apart from Olaoluwa? Okay. So I think we should call it a day because I'm not feeling too fine. I think you should be able to see from my voice. But do you think this class was kind of very slow and more kind of very easy to understand compared to what I did yesterday? Please, I need everyone's feedback, please. It's very important because if this method works for us today,
Yes.
yeah, okay, cool. So then I will stick to this pattern. Okay. So okay. So I will call it a day for the sake of my health because I have to work tomorrow. I'm not feeling too good. And I will send you the video, and please, as I've said earlier, find a very dirty data set and probably come up with any conditions as maybe as a customer that you really want me to solve for you. So that will make you to learn more. That's the only way. Considering the fact that our level of probably of expertise differs when it comes to the use of technologies and analytic tools. I'm pretty very open. If you send me the request, I'll put it on my schedule because I will also be lecturing at University of Indianapolis this fall again. They just gave me a course again, and coupled with other things I'm doing, so that I can plan ahead and get things done on time. So thank you so much for your patience. And since this class today is pretty very easy and probably was in a very slow pace and everyone is able to get it, I think I'll stick to this format. But the goal is that at the end of this month, we should all start applying for jobs. And I have a clue. I have a good news I want to tell you. So there is one of my students that is just like an exam away to be certified as an Ultrix to have his Ultrix course certification. That is also another good thing. For me, it's a plus anyways. And I think Florence is also working on Ultrix certification as well. So Florence, Laulu is almost done with Ultrix certification. So I want to probably encourage you all to start. It's not going to be easy. I have to be very sincere with you. But do you know what? At the end of the day, you guys, all of us, are going to be happy because the ends are justifying the means. And I believe in something. Whatever energy, effort you put towards something, the reward is always very huge and great. That's what I believe. So thank you so much, and let's keep the spirit up. And I believe by the special grace of God, we all gonna probably get to do a good job. So let's have a very wonderful night, everyone, and I'll see you this week, Saturday. Goodbye.